In this edition of Idle Gossip, remake mistakes. Destination Diva. Pam portrays Panache. And now our regular feature on how to appear in public, the Fashion Police. If you want to find the celebs grazing like herds of cattle and looking less like stars and more like mere mortals, check out the fashion shows. Every year the season is abuzz with showings and parades, and a smattering of stars show up to get a clue about what's coming up next in the buzzy world of fashion. Liza never misses a show, especially when she's outfitted by the designer himself for the night. Seen here in a lovely poncho and bouncing back from her divorce troubles. Glad you're back, Liza. We've missed you. Pretty people abound at these events, and as any star will admit, a photo opportunity is a photo opportunity. Don't miss out. Using up the spotlight for all it's worth and sizzling at the same time is Keira Knightley. Isn't she beautiful in this Matthew Williamson original? Shame about some of the others who turned up looking like they just escaped from Lollyland or Lilliput. Oh please, go home and get changed. Where do designers get their ideas? And how many women are out there suffering from the mumps and desperate to impress at that special occasion? Yes, woolen knee warmers are going to be on everyone's lips this season. I mean, knees. There's plenty of celebrities not quite cutting it in the fashion stakes. Carlos Santana could do with a new hat. He looks like he's just got off a fishing trawler. And Alicia Keys, she has a style all her own, but this jeans and t-shirt ensemble lets down the brown fedora's style. The Fashion Police will be watching you, Ms. Keys. Just like Lil' Kim, her fashion statements are often hit and miss. This time, we'll let her off with a warning. What is this woman saying with that outfit? That fur looks like Mr. Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. Yes, Ricky, it's too late now to realise you didn't shave. Silly man. And Sheryl Crow. Nice abs, but who needs it? I'd be running to Cyndi Lauper for support too. As Cindy wonders, oh my God, what is she wearing? Naturally, the Europeans are streets ahead. Penelope Cruz shows them how it's done. Hot charm. But is she checking her zipper or what? Oh. And what were you drinking when you agreed to wear it? These guys are dressed to the nines, but check out the bunch behind them. Spooky. Ben Harper prepares for his salute to Elvis's Vegas years. Thank you very much. And it wouldn't be Fashion Police without a gander at what Paris Hilton is up to. Revealing her own perfume and looking oh so interested in promoting it, Paris has us all intrigued to know how she did it.
Just them sending me different oils and different fragrances in the mail and me smelling them and picking out which ones I like the best and what to mix together.
Wow.
Yeah? Wow. Ah, red carpet time. What have we here? A zebra-draped bus conductor? A Martian extra from War of the Worlds. Jerry Lewis. Nobody told me he's escaped. Look out, any second now he'll have everyone in the aisles. And they'll be heading for the exits. Fashion Police, over and out.
I came for Wiener Schnitzel one year. I'll have it tonight.
You knew how much I loved you. How much I still love you.
The word classic, when attached to a film, can also be translated as do not tamper. One would never think something like Gone with the Wind would be remade, and thankfully, so far it hasn't. If it was, we'd probably end up with Richard Gere and Catherine Zeta-Jones as the leads. Ugh.
Kiss me once.
Well, hello, how are you?
Well, I'm fine. How are you? And I might add...
Billy Wilder assembled a genius cast in Sabrina. Audrey Hepburn was matched with Humphrey Bogart and dashing William Holden in the delightful romance from a bygone era.
Mother, this is Miss Fairchild.
Sabrina? Yes, of course. Have I changed? Have I really changed? You certainly have.
Director Sidney Pollack thought he could do better with Harrison Ford, Greg Kinnear and Julia Ormond as Sabrina.
I have a sister. That's not how we dance.
Where have you been all my life?
Right over the garage.
No one can hold a candle to the beauty and grace of Audrey Hepburn. And no matter how ballsy and dry he's been on screen in the past, Bogart, Harrison Ford, is not.
Pension plan. Having been with us 1 year, this will entitle you to 65 cents a month for the rest of your life.
A director like Pollack should know better, but he had to learn the hard way, as critics and audiences canned this poor remake. The Rat Pack all appearing in the one picture was the draw card that made Ocean's 11 work.
Oh, Danny, what a prize you are. The only husband in the world who'd proposition his own wife.
Well, I married you once and it didn't work out too well.
I'm with Terry now.
Second time around, director Steven Soderbergh drew mostly A-list stars into his remake that was an exercise in self-indulgence and a poor parody of the classy original.
I knew this color would come in handy one day. And background action!
And following up with a sequel was pure greed. Tim Burton, known for his dark view through the camera lens, took a budget 20 times bigger than the first version of Planet of the Apes and spent it on special effects for his remake.
Okay, let's go explain evolution to the monkeys.
Even Mark Wahlberg's muscles can't save the big-budget bummer that had none of the charm of the original cerebral thriller.
You did it. You cut up his brain.
It goes to show, if a movie is a cultural landmark as the original film was for its time, one should not try to ape its success.
Eventually a kind of living death.
The original Stepford Wives was laced with references to women's lib, greedy patriarchs, and depicted maltreated housewives who are actually robots.
I like to watch women doing little domestic chores.
Suspense and horror had never been so thought-provoking. Fast forward to 21st century Stepford, where comedy diva Bette Midler drops so many one-liners that even Nicole Kidman appears dull.
Good morning, ladies.
Wait, you work out dressed like this?
Of course.
We always want to look our very best.
No matter how camped up it becomes, without the psychodrama of the original, this satire just doesn't seem to work. But the worst of the worst would have to go to Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of the classic Hitchcock thriller, Psycho. Why would it be a good idea to remake it shot-for-shot, line for line? The original was brilliant. The remake was an eyebrow raiser to say the least. When movies become legendary, they practically become famous. And when the movie makers decide to produce a younger model, it can only be a copy of the original and certainly not art. Streisand's own mother once explained to her that she would never be famous. Barbara, movie stars are pretty. Ouch.
I'm a sex therapist who specializes.
Pop divas come and go. Starting back in the 1960s, Diana Ross set the benchmark for all who would follow. Tina Turner was another 60s singer whose phenomenal comeback in the 1980s earned her the nickname of the grandmother of rock and roll. Both are bona fide divas, a testament to their careers' longevity, strength of character, and unique voices. Madonna's decades of chart domination puts her in the company of the most famous of female singers. No one can argue her widely known reputation as a demanding businesswoman equates to massive diva status, even if it's only for the way she behaves to her many minions. Kylie Minogue has been placed just behind or equally with Madonna in popularity since her career skyrocketed. Her regular reinventions and comebacks deem her a graduate of the Madonna School of Divadom. Who are the so-called divas of recent times? Do they all possess the diva factor? Or are some just well-marketed pop nothings soon to be replaced by another pop robot waiting in the wings? Britney Spears, television mouseketeer and blonde, cute and sassy from her school uniform beginnings, we're often found questioning her judgment and behaviour. Is she married? Is she having another baby? Does she need all that makeup? And why did she feel the need to kiss Madonna? Who was getting a hit of street cred from who? Britney is growing older with her legion of teen fans, but will she sophisticate herself and her sound in time before the fans move on? Britney sadly will probably never make it to true diva status. She'll end up a memory of something you danced to at a 16th birthday party when you and your friends had spots. Fellow Mickey Mouse Club performer Christina Aguilera is completely different. Christina started out a blonde, but after experiencing chart success, Christina reinvented herself by dyeing her hair black, putting on some weight, and raunching up like Britney never could. Where Miss Spears reeked of tease, Christina was letting you know with every fibre of her being she was for real. This one is a diva. The voice is there, and this lady possesses the sex appeal and raw guts to stand out from the pack.
I'm being myself. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You know, turn the channel, don't watch me.
Another that stands out is skater girl Avril Lavigne. Pencil-thin rock chick, grungy guitar in hand and a skateboard in the other, Avril fills the gap in the more alternative styles of pop. The tough, rough girl invading the male-dominated field with all the brassiness of a rude gesture. With this mantle comes an expectation that this kind of girl has to have a bad attitude and speak for the rebel inside her fans everywhere.
I don't think people so much portray me as the angry girl anymore. I think that was like so last year with the last record. I don't know. People don't know what they're talking about. I'm not angry.
This rock chick appears to do just that. But longevity in the rock world does not equate to being a diva, even with talent and a bad attitude. Avril comes across as a more watered-down Courtney Love. She's no diva, but she'd probably win a fight with Britney or Christina if one was picked. Just who is a diva today is totally debatable. The concept of being a diva in the context of opera relates to a woman possessing an amazing, powerful singing voice. It's well known that with computer assistance, anyone can sound like a diva, and it's academic that several of these pop-tarts without their digital help would be nothing at all. Infamy sounds like a nasty word, but it's not really. especially when used to describe stars that really haven't done much more than be themselves to gain fame and fortune. At the top of our A-list of infamous stars is the woman who rewrote the history books on being a bimbette in Hollywood, Pamela Anderson. Pammy's done it all. She's starred, produced, she's even written a novel. She's inspired women everywhere to invest in breast augmentation and then stayed the leader of the pack by having those sassy saline sacs whipped out again. This 5'7" babe has gone from 34 A cups to a bouncy 36 D cup and back down again to a more wholesome 34 C cup. And good on her for going against convention. Pamela is today one of Hollywood's most in-demand celebrity models. Pam has graced Playboy magazine's cover a record 11 times, first exposing her stunning blondness at age 22. She was cast in the sitcom Home Improvement as the Tool-Time Girl. Recognised to have all the prerequisites required to play a TV lifeguard, she then moved to Baywatch, where she played CJ Parker for 6 life-saving seasons. Pamela was huge. She was very famous too, and like many before her, a movie role soon followed her TV success. Her role as Barbed Wire in the comic strip action movie of the same name fitted her like a glove, but unfortunately, more movie offers didn't flow her way. The movie was a dud, but Pretty Pammy knew her notoriety was her greatest asset and used it to her advantage to produce VIP, a bland TV series she also starred in as a busty celebrity who sets up a bodyguard agency. The show paled in comparison to Baywatch, but Pam and the other scantily clad actresses titillated an audience that tuned in for 5 years. Pam's love life has sold a lot of newspapers. She and motley Tommy Lee were married after a whirlwind 4-day romance and had 2 children. The marriage was rocked with regular separations and spousal abuse. Pam even sent Tommy to jail for 6 months for his mean heavy-handedness towards her before the couple finally split. Well-calculated moves keep her career moving along. Pam has morphed from an on-screen goddess to a cartoon vixen, providing the voice for Stripperella. And if that's not a career transformation enough, Pam has also written a novel. Her book, Star, tells the story of a young girl with a body to die for who appears on Lifeguards Inc., Hammer Time, and on the cover of Man magazine. Oh, Pam, where did you get these ideas from?
Well, they like Baywatch, so I think it's with me. I'm Canadian, so anything about Hollywood and anything about California, I was always fascinated by and wanted to learn about. So I think it's just going to be fun and silly, and I think you get a good sense of me and kind of what I went through, even though it's fiction.
So there is a lot of Pamela in the book?
Oh yeah.
Pamela Anderson is smart enough to ensure she'll be around for some time to come, and while she's still got the goods, we're sure Pam will find a way to put them on display. Country crooner Shania Twain insists on no alcohol in the dressing rooms prior to the show. Her list of backstage requirements also includes eggless pasta, cookies and muffins, Hubba Bubba or Bubble Yum bubblegum, and orange cheese popcorn. However, she does have her meals with the rest of the crew. Not such a diva after all. The acting game is set to be about not what you know, but who you know. And it must be true when you consider there are some appalling actors on the big screen these days. Sure, a lot of these so-called talents are gorgeous-looking freaks of nature, but they also probably had good connections and great publicists that got them started. Freddie Prinze Jr. This guy has been in a list of forgettable movies that were so pointless, audiences completely forgot to show up. Films like Scooby-Doo, Boys and Girls, Summer Catch. Any of these titles ring a bell for you? Because we've never heard of some of them. He's a cute dude, and he's obviously a nice guy to have snared Sarah Michelle Gellar for his wife. But sadly, his career as an actor is left in the limbo of dull date movies. We wonder why. Keanu Reeves has a stellar career, and he's not a bad-looking fellow either. It's just that his movie performances can often put one to sleep. His plastic action roles in Speed and the Matrix series confirm his transparency as an actor. His popularity began as a teen heartthrob, and after a few choice castings, Keanu was blessed with a career to die for. Pity it was wasted on so shallow an actor. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. What can we say? They were child stars from a young age, now they're young college girls, and just as irritating to watch then as now. The empire built around these nice little girls cranks over millions in books, videos, albums, and at last, the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, New York Minute, which was about as long as the potential audience members considered viewing it before choosing another film.
Maybe you think I'm talking about physical.
David Hasselhoff. TV screens everywhere live in fear of Knight Rider repeats. Don't be scared though, he won't hurt you if you don't look. This guy was a heartthrob on daytime TV. His stint as a crime fighter with a supercar and as leader of the LA Lifeguards cemented his place in schlock TV history. Natalie Portman. She always plays the ingenue with little of interest to say. Her accent in Star Wars Episode 1 was her most challenging role to date. But with only so many princess roles available, she's had to go to Israel for work. Bye-bye. The stars of the Harry Potter movies. They each have internet hate sites about them and are generally terrible when it comes to acting. Never to be seen again after the Potter franchise ends. But who's counting? With so many bad actors out there, it's not surprising Hollywood is always crying about loss of audiences to DVD and cable TV. But with these options comes an off button.